But does that make them biscuits? Part two. I was now in middle school. I have a dream had inspired over 200,000 black men and women to march on Washington, D.C. Malcolm X challenged our delusion of being respected as American citizens by asking simply, a cat can have kittens in an oven, but does that make them biscuits? In 1964, after King had been gunned down, black people took to the streets, shooting and being shot. Some youth charged the stage in Boston where James Brown was performing. What they did reached me in North Carolina. Brown's please, 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 and his processed hair gave way to the afro and the new voices from the youth. I remember as plain as day. We were in the school gym, stomping and throwing our fists. Dancing defiantly, we shouted from the top of our lungs, we're people too. We like the birds and the bees. We'd rather die on our feet than keep living on our knees. Say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud. Say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud. With every beat of the song, every stomp, every black power fist pump, I was stomping down the induced shame, beating back the fear and the fear inducers. We were purging ourselves of the false ideas born of centuries of abuse. You're inferior. You're your own worst enemy. You deserve oppression. You brought this on yourselves. One purging phrase came from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad through his most powerful minister, Malcolm X. It was so sharp that many of us were afraid to utter it. For others, it was liberating, and it explained everything. It was a simple phrase. Curtis Mayfield's "We're a Winner" amplified our street movement and sought to put a nail in that powerless coffin with the line, we don't mind leaving here to show the world we have no fear, 'cause we're a winner. And everybody knows it's true. Still, Malcolm's "the white man is the devil" crossed into offensive territory, taking moral and spiritual aim at our oppressors. We were challenged. It called us to unearth poisoned preferences, emotions, values, behaviors, tendencies distorted or created to serve Europeans at our expense. Mount Carmel was the rocking Baptist church just a stone's throw from that old pecan tree and our winter kitchen workshop. There, God, Jesus, and the angels were still European, white. White on the handheld church fans, white on the murals, white on the walls, stained glass windows. In the Bible, Joseph and Mary were also painted white, and truth be told, they were still white in our hearts and in our minds. Our spirituality and morality had been twisted to serve the aliens. While we were boldly singing about dying, standing on our feet rather than living on our knees, it somehow felt wrong to say the white man is the devil. Any fear I had of white retaliation could be hidden under the cloak of morality. It was just wrong to say that. Having survived and fought against the most abject abuse for centuries, legal bondage, convict leasing, Jim Crow, lynchings, miseducation, and media for subjugation, we had become strong from the victories. Still, we had wounds. Those wounds were portals for unseen poisons. Lighter skin signified beauty and intelligence. Big noses had to be pinched, while lips and butts had to be tucked in so that they would appear smaller. Robert's rules of order still ran our meetings, and we worked to convince them that our story was worthy of being included in their story that we and they called his story. This flushing would take more than a minute. It would be a recurring process. Some poisons I would have to discover over time. Some poisons I already knew had to go. I hadn't figured out how to hold on to my Aunt Rosie while flushing the Jesus she prayed to heal my fractured skull. The long envelope. As usual, Dad was there to pick me up from the Greyhound bus station. I'd been living with my mother in New Jersey the summer before I was to be transferred to high school in North Carolina. Dad and I hugged. Then, holding me at arm's length, he said, "Let me look at you, boy. You've grown over the summer." On the way home, we got caught up. I hadn't focused on high school all summer. Everybody from Belt Boulevard to Person Street was going to E.E. Smith. Our junior high school, J.S. Spivey, our colors were the same. Our band sometimes played with theirs. Kenny Wells would be throwing the pill. DJ Johnson would run under it and straight to the end zone. My good friend Dirk had the fastest first step of any power forward. I couldn't wait for school to start. I couldn't wait to become a golden bull. That blue and gold, it looks so good to me, yeah, that blue and gold. On the dresser in my room was a long envelope. It was from the school system. Dad hadn't opened it, and I wish I hadn't either. The words, "You are assigned to Terry Sanford Senior High School," hit me like Muhammad Ali hit Sonny Liston. Terry Sanford was the high school in the upper crust white neighborhood. They had a huge lot for student parking and a student smoking area. They had John T. Sassa, a principal from Mississippi. While a handful of black parents had enrolled their children, it was a white school, and I did not want to attend at all. Despite my protesting, my family had neither the money nor the influence to create an exception for me. When the time came, every black rising 10th grader that I knew boarded the special buses to take us to a foreign land. As the buses rolled up to the school, I saw other black students I'd never known. They came from other black neighborhoods. Somehow, we were all drawn to the gym. That's where we hung out before classes started. It became our haven, our command central behind enemy lines. We were not alone, and we would become a force to be reckoned with. Larry Williams and Ron George became my big brothers and lifelong comrades. Brother Jackie Mosley introduced me to the Mean Machine. The white man's got a God complex and other prophetic wisdom from the last poets. The more militant of us refused to say the Pledge of Allegiance, and for the Star-Spangled Banner, we stood with our heads down and fists clenched thrust to the ceiling. John Carlos and Tommy Smith led the way at the 1968 Olympics. Almost everyone resisted or protested in their own way. Our first organized effort took aim at the curriculum. We wanted no more white and whitewashed history. Some of us had been coached in junior high. Back at Spivey, the librarian introduced us to a set of black history encyclopedias published by Carter G. Woodson and the Association of the Study of African American Life and History. She helped us discover the truth about our history and flush the lies. Her name was Medarine McLean. Blacker than the midnight sky, she stood proud and straight. She reminded me of a slightly taller Nina Simone. That she was a woman, a few words added to her mystery. She, too, was behind enemy lines. We found her in the library. She and some other teachers were from our community. They had received the same kind of letter assigning them to this hostile place, and some of them, like us, didn't want to be there. When I was protesting by not trying in geometry class, Miss Fanny Jenkins confronted me after class. "You know you can do this work." "I know, Miss Jenkins. I just don't want to be here." "You're not alone. I don't want to be here either. We were assigned here just like you. But since we're here, at least make the best of it. Failing geometry isn't going to change it." It was the first time that I thought about black teachers being directed against their will. It helped me feel a stronger connection and broaden my scope. She was right. Failing geometry would only hurt me. "But Miss Jenkins, I don't like how they do the proofs in the textbook. Can I use other proofs?" "As long as your proofs are valid, you can be as creative as you want." I went from rebelling and failing to loving geometry and making a